Hi, this is Paul Lewis from Puppets and Stuff Puppets. You can find us on the World Wide Web at www.puppetsandstuff.com. On behalf of Expert Village, I'd like to welcome you. Today I'm going to teach you how to build a moving mouth puppet, a basic moving mouth puppet that you can use in your next puppet production. First, we're going to start off with some supplies that we're going to be needing. So you might want to jot this down as I show them to you, one by one. We're going to need a bunch of hot glue sticks, hair dryer, hot glue gun, box cutters. This over here is a piece of cardboard cut from a juice box, okay? And the cardboard is going to be cut into a rectangle. It's going to be about 4.5 by 6 inches. We're also going to be needing some anti-pill fleece. A ½ yard of anti-pill fleece will do the trick. Any color that you want your puppet to be. The neat thing about anti-pill fleece is that it comes in a whole variety of colors. And by the way, all of these materials, most of these materials you can buy at your local fabric store or craft store. Over here we have a sheet of rubber. Now normally these come in rectangles, but I've been cutting pieces off building a bunch of puppets. So it's not a rectangle right now, but they do come in rectangular shapes. Red rubber, red rubber. Over here is a piece of 1-inch foam rubber. And we've cut it into kind of a square, about 7.5 by 7 inches. We're going to need a sheet of felt, black felt preferably. We're going to need right over here, this over here is kind of a little brush with foam rubber at the end here. We're going to be working with contact cement later on, so this is going to be able to be your tool for dabbing on the contact cement. And of course we're going to need our contact cement. We're going to need some scissors. We're going to need a pom-pom. Over here we've got a bunch of little tabs of felt, and they are adhesive pieces, so you can peel them off the paper and stick them on your character, and I'll show you what they're for later on. But again, you can buy them in your local craft store or fabric store. Magic marker and craft fur or little marabou boas. Of course, we're going to need a sewing machine. Right over here we have a little glass of water, and it's not to drink. We're going to be using it when we work with our hot glue, and I'll show you a little trick there that can save you a lot of time and could also keep you from getting burnt. All right? If I had a penny for every time I got burnt with a hot glue gun for not using that water, I'd be a millionaire by now. So we're definitely going to keep that water right over there. I think that's about it with our supplies, so when we come back, we're going to start building our puppet. We're going to continue now with building our moving mouth puppet, and we already showed you our supplies, so now we're going to take that ½ yard of anti-pill fleece that I showed you earlier, and we're going to lay it out in front of us. Make sure it's folded over, okay? So in other words, you have your ½ yard, and as you can see, it's folded over, okay? Make sure it's folded over, lay it out right in front of you, and this is the part where we're going to draw the outline for our character. Now, if you're not very good at drawing, I would suggest that you find a friend or somebody that knows how to do this. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little character with its arms extended out and its head like so. Okay? Now, while I'm doing this, I can tell you that it took me quite some time to start drawing these patterns just from memory. However, if you want to get much better results, I would advise you to draw the outline or the pattern of the character on probably a big piece of cardboard or paper, which you can then later on cut out and use to trace over your material. Through trial and error, you will find your own little system. You may want to improve my system here and there, and that's completely fine. As an artist, you are entitled to do that. Now I can see here on my pattern that I made the neck a little bit too small. And I'm going to show you exactly what I made here in a second. Let me just even out the head a bit. Okay, now let me show you what I drew here. I drew a little character. Alright, so now that we've done that, we're going to cut the pattern out. And we're going to fold it inside out, sew it, and do all that fun stuff. Okay? So when we come back, we'll start doing that. We're now going to continue with building our moving mouth puppet by taking the pattern that we drew out earlier, and we're going to start sewing it. Okay, so this is the fun part, folks. Again, if you don't know how to use a sewing machine, I suggest that you get somebody to do this for you. What you want to do is carefully sew along the lines that you drew earlier. And hopefully you'll have a reliable sewing machine, not like mine, which needs some repairs. So hopefully my sewing machine won't conk out on me. But what I'm going to do is carefully sew the pattern. Now you really want to take your time with this, because once these pieces of thread are sewn in, it's a done deal. And now I'm going to be going around the head. Almost there. Coming down the torso now. And we are approaching the finish line as far as sewing out the pattern. And there we have it. Ooh. We have a little sewn pattern. Okay? All right. When we come back, we're going to cut this pattern out, and we're going to fold it inside out, and I'm going to show you how we do that back in a bit. Okay, so we've showed you our supplies, we showed you how to draw a pattern for your puppet, and we've shown you how to sew the pattern out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut the pattern out. And this can be tricky too, because you've drawn with magic marker a pattern over here. You don't want to view this side of the pattern when you are cutting it out, because the black lines may not be exactly on the thread that you have sewn earlier. So that could be a little misleading. What I like to do for safety is I like to cut on the other side. That way I know I'm not cutting into my thread. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And again, you want to take your time with this. You don't want to rush. The beauty of building a puppet like this is that your puppet could be any size that you'd like it to be. This is a pretty good size for my arm. I'm an average sized man. I don't have a very big arm or hand size, so this puppet is just right for me. And again, through trial and error, you will find out which pattern works for you and which doesn't. Also, if you really want to get creative and give yourself a challenge, you can make this pattern really, really tiny and perhaps make it a finger puppet. Now, we've sewn out our little character here. Okay? All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this inside out, and that's pretty easy. What you do is just reach in and just pull out. Then reach in again and maybe just straighten out the seams there. Now, the arms are inside out. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop them out like this. Now, I like to use a little pencil here, and I reach inside and I just poke the arm through. Now the arm is through, but the fingers aren't really popping out yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to get in there and we're going to try our best to pop out each little finger. Now I like to build puppets kind of like the way cartoons are. You know how cartoons have 4 fingers? I don't know why that is, but it seems like traditional for cartoon characters always have 4 fingers. But at any rate, I like to kind of do the same thing with my puppets. And it seems to be universally accepted to have a character with 4 fingers. Nobody even questions that. Okay? So, we have turned our character inside out.